Bora lá, vamos ver a live.
Hey, traveler.
Olá, Ito, vai vir o Ito então.
I bet you didn't waste any time as soon as you heard that Inazuma was organizing a test of courage event, right? Huh? I know you. Oh, what am I doing? Well,
que você tá fazendo?
obviously I'm here scouting out the place. I've been investigating the area and I've already figured out all the plans for the event. Of course,
Que evento?
I can tell you all the details. We're practically family.
Deixa eu baixar um pouquinho que tá
I'm
meio
Max
alto.
Middleman, and this is the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program. Let's roll the version 3.3 trailer.
Bora! Aê! Ah, sim, você é o El Gato, ok. Sei quem é. Oh, trailer. Que isso?
A friendly word of advice.
Conselho amigo.
Test of courage events tend to give rise to a variety
Eu tô tampando a legenda, não tô, gente. Acho que assim fica melhor. Bora.
of strange rumors and stories. So please, be sure to exercise caution.
Prossigam com... Ah! Que susto! Ito!
How was that? Were you scared?
Que foi isso? Vai ter eventinho de... Ah, que bonitinho! Vai ter eventinho de terror! Por que o Halloween tá vindo diferente? Halloween no Genshin? Ainda tá meio alto, não tá?
Jester, I have completed the task
Dottore!
you gave me.
From this day forth, Balladeer and Kabukimono
Quem é
will cease
Kabukimono?
to exist.
Quem é Kabukimono?
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Dottore.
Meu Deus. O escaramucho vai voltar. Bom, a gente já tava esperando isso, né?
In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Uau! Uau! Caraca!
Squall and Fury.
É o escaramucho animo. Ele voa!
You dare to gaze upon me?
Vai dar um pisão. Ele dá pisão e ele voa! Ele voa mesmo? Olha a Faruzan. Ah, ela é de arco! Ai, que bonitinha! Peraí, deixa eu ajustar o volume aqui de novo.
Scaramouche.
Escaramucho!
The mere fact of your utility does not make you indestructible.
Que linda essa arte! Quem que tá caindo aqui? Peraí. Ah, é o escaramucho, tá. Aí, o primeiro código já tá aí no chat, tá? Tá, vamos um pouquinho mais pra frente. Passar esse código aqui. Ok. Hatsune Miku... Não, a Faruzan, ela vai ser 4 estrelas, eu acho, né? Eu acho que ela vai ser 4 estrelas. O escaramucho é 5 estrelas. Cara, ele voa, mano. Ele voa, cara.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program. I'm your host, Sarah Miller Cruz, the voice of Lumine in Genshin Impact.
Ah, ela é
and
tão
today
fofinha.
I'm joined by
Max,
Ito?
the one and only middleman voice of the one and only Arataki Ito.
Ele é
And I'm
divertido.
Patrick Pedraza, voice of the Wanderer. But up until now, travelers have only known me as Scaramouche, and everyone's been
Scaramouche.
battling me in the game lately.
Tadinho.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, it's a really cool fight.
É verdade, a luta dele é muito legal.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm super excited to have the chance to share some upcoming
Mas você não vai
content
tentar o
with
escaramucho não,
everyone.
Julianos?
What did you all think about that trailer?
Okay,
Não, o trailer tá
so
brabo.
I definitely saw
Como
Urban Soul in
sempre,
there,
né?
and I am really excited
Ele
to find
comprou o
out more
jetpack
about
na
it.
Black Friday.
Yeah, that trailer had everything. It had everything. It had action. It had drama. It was lighthearted in places, but it was dramatic.
Dramático.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just
Oi,
super
Ini, tudo
stoked for
bom?
everyone to see Scaramouche's, like, backstory.
Eu quero ver a história do
excited about it,
escaramucho.
Heck yeah.
E eu quero ver por que que ele tem a visão a Nemo.
Following the story's development, Scaramouche is still in Nahida's
Tá, a Nahida tá cuidando
so
dele.
I bet the question
Ah, anúncio?
everyone's
Tá bom. A gente espera o anúncio.
wanting to know
Vamos
is
continuar
how
aqui.
he'll become the Wanderer.
Yeah, for sure. And there's quite a story behind that. If you're interested, then be sure to play through the Archon Quest Interlude chapter in version of Genesis. There is so much to learn in this quest, so I hope everyone
Tá, então vai ter
checks
quest.
it
Eu tenho que fazer a
out.
quest da Nahida antes, eu
Man,
acho.
you can't just leave everyone hanging like that. How about some hints? Come on,
Dicas? Eu quero
please,
dicas.
Please.
All right. How can I say no?
Ele
to
tem,
a
Julianos. Um
future
amigo dele morreu, pelo
Here's
visto.
a little preview from the quest.
Preview da quest. Uou!
We ran into two people at the academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the TER.às incident. From what they were saying, it sounded like lots of TER.às history is still unexplained.
Tá, a gente vai
And most of
caminhar
the
com o escaramuche.
information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination.
Essa é a Irminsul? Eu também não entendi.
Well, they guessed right about one thing. TER.às was sabotaged.
Que é Tatarasuna? Eu esqueci o que é Tatarasuna.
Oh,
Caraca, onde é que a gente
Why are we
tava?
talking about TER.às?
I guess we'll have to see. It is interesting, though, to see the Traveler, Nahida, and Scaramouche all together so peacefully.
É, andando assim.
Yeah, but in
É
this
broto da
interlude chapter,
Irminsul?
Nahida will task the Traveler and Paimon with keeping an eye on Scaramouche while we go with him into Irminsul in search of some
É, então pelo
information.
visto é Irminsul mesmo.
Oh, interesting. So obviously Nahida must have some reason for deciding to keep Scaramouche around.
Oh,
Com
yeah,
certeza.
totally. And I'm liking Scaramouche's new style.
Ah,
Ooh,
trocou
dude's
de cor.
looking Sharp.
Por
Yeah,
elegância.
always. No. Right. And at this point, he's known by a completely different name.
Oi, Emi, tudo bom? Como é que você tá?
Okay, so I know
A
I'm not
história
the
de
only one
Genshin
who's
é muito
curious
legal,
about
Emi.
what
Se você
happened.
quiser
I mean,
continuar
it
jogando, eu
looks like
recomendo
he's really
demais.
changed a lot.
E presta atenção
Yeah,
na
for
história,
sure.
viu?
But I'm afraid that's all we can show for now. Travelers
Eu
will
tô
have to
ótima também,
experience the story for
obrigada.
themselves in game. I mean, it's better to explore the storyline without too many spoilers, right?
True, true.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, we'll leave the rest for travelers to discover themselves. But the Wanderer is also going to be a new playable character in
Tá,
version
ele vai
3.3.
vir. Ele vai vir na
So
primeira
let's talk
parte ou na
about that.
segunda parte? Eu quero
I'm
saber
sure
disso.
many of our viewers are curious about his talents.
Heck yeah, sure thing.
Eu quero ver ele
Let's have a look at
voando,
the
porque
Wanderer
como que ele
in
voa?
combat.
Com o que ele voa?
There's no need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just
Que
to occupy
bonitinho!
silence.
Gente! Nossa! Ah, não. Ah, não. Olha ele. Cara! Olha isso
There's
aqui.
no need to
Ele ganhou uma visão nova, tá vendo? Ele tá com uma visão. Ele tá cutucando a visão.
exchange pleasantries.
Ele tá, tipo, admirando a própria
It's
visão
rather
dele.
pathetic to force a
E aí ele percebe que a gente tá olhando ele.
conversation
E ele fica com vergonha. Ah, que fofo! Ah,
occupy
não!
silence.
The wind rises.
Tá. Eu acho que esse é o E. Ele voa mesmo ou é só a skill dele?
Bow your head.
Tá, ele dá um pisão. Ele dá um pisão e ele voa, mas eu não sei se é só a skill que voa ou se... Ei, que isso?
All right, Patrick,
Ele mostrou
you're
a
up.
língua pra
Help
mim.
introduce the Wanderer for us.
Sure
Ele voa por um
thing.
tempo?
The
Sério?
Wanderer is a catalyst user and has an animovision,
Tá,
so he
ele é
uses
catalisador.
wind blades to perform range normal attacks.
O ataque
a second,
normal,
Windblade.
ele voa, tá?
Not
É igual a
the same
Kokomi.
as the Traveler's Windblade, though.
Okay.
So, as everyone probably already noticed,
Salve, Storm,
the
tudo-
Wanderer
Ah, ele
can
voa!
hover in the air when he casts his elemental skill. Everyone probably already noticed, the Wanderer can hover in the air when he casts his
Ele
elemental skill.
voa!
Upon using his elemental skill, he will first deal AoE damage before leaping into the air and entering a hovering state.
Tá.
So, while hovering, the Wanderer's normal and charge attacks will be converted into Kugo, Fushudan, and Kugu Tofukai, respectively. The damage they deal and their AoE will be increased.
Que
Their
boneco
damage
legal!
will be
Ele
considered
voa!
normal and charge attack damage, respectively. Also, Kugu Tofukai will not consume stamina, and he
E não
can
consome
remain hovering
stamina.
for a certain duration.
That's so awesome.
Ele voa, cara!
I know, right? But he can't stay hovering forever.
Tá, ele não
While
pode
hovering,
voar pra
the Wanderer
sempre.
constantly consumes Kuguryoku points to maintain his hovering state, which is the blue meter you see on the screen. Even if
Ah,
he doesn't
tá.
move or attack, hovering will still consume Kuguryoku points.
Ah,
Okay.
entendi. Tem
So
tipo uma
this
estamina.
mechanic works a little differently than our typical stamina meter. There are many possible
É tipo
actions
outro
the
tipo de
Wanderer can
stamina.
perform while hovering in the air, which all rely on Kuguryoku points
Nossa,
rather
tomara que eu
than
consiga
stamina.
pegar, cara.
So, for example,
Pra explorar, sim, deve ser
sprinting
muito
mid-air
bom.
will consume additional Kuguryoku points to accelerate mid-air. And holding the sprint button will cause
Ele é tão
persistent
legal,
point consumption
mano.
to maintain speed. So this effect will replace his default sprint. Jumping expends extra
Eu gosto do
Kuguryoku
chapeuzão
points to
dele.
increase hovering height. Holding jump will cause persistent Kuguryoku point consumption to keep increasing hovering height.
Então, se você segurar o espaço,
running out of points will end
você
his
vai mais
hovering
pra
state.
cima, só que vai gastando mais estamina.
Oh,
Que
okay,
legal,
so
dá pra ir, tipo,
travelers
muito
will
pra
need to
cima.
plan their actions while hovering.
Exactly. So, with his talent, Jade Claim Flower, when casting his elemental skill, if it contacts Hydro, Pyro,
Tá, se ele faz
Cryo, or
alguma
Electro,
reação,
that instance of the skill will receive a corresponding buff effect.
vai ganhar um
depending on
buff
which
dependendo
element
do
was
elemento.
contacted.
Ai.
So, for example, increasing
Será que
his
dá pra chegar em
Kuguryoku
Celeste?
point
Acho que
cap,
não.
attack, crit rate, or restoring a set amount of energy upon hitting opponents with a normal or charged attack. The Wanderer can have up to 2 different kinds of these buffs simultaneously.
Vai ganhar
Oh,
bônus.
look, check that out. Part of the halo behind him changes color depending on the buffs you get. So
que
travelers will be able to
legal.
easily understand what effects the Wanderer currently has.
I
O buff,
like that.
o buff muda a cor
It's
do,
helpful
da,
and
da
still
aura
looks really
atrás
cool.
dele.
Yeah.
So, after unlocking another talent, Gales of Reverie, when the Wanderer is in the hovering state, if his normal or charged attack hits an enemy, there is a set chance to gain another buff effect.
Eu fui até Celeste é um
allowing him to
PNG, por
sprint
enquanto,
midair
né?
Without consuming Kuguryoku points.
Eu acho que ele é main
Additionally,
DPS, eu não
this
acho que ele é
buff
sub
effect
DPS
will
não,
fire
mas não
wind
tenho
arrows
certeza.
to attack the enemy.
E aí, Kenichi, tudo bom? A gente tá vendo a live da
I'm sure
3 com
extra
os
buff
3
effects
aqui.
like that will go a long way for players when they're in combat.
Yeah, for sure.
É, ele
And
parece
if
ser
you've
full
noticed,
DPS.
there is a colorful aura of light around his body to indicate when that buff effect is triggered.
Saw that.
That's pretty cool. I love all the detail they've put into the Wanderer.
Alright, this brings us to the Wanderer's
É
elemental
o pisão.
Yay!
O supremo dele é um
So,
pisão.
check this out. Upon
Olha que
unleashing
legal,
his
cara.
burst, he compresses the atmosphere and stomps it down toward the enemy. So travelers should note that if the Wanderer is in a hovering state when he unleashes his burst, then the hovering state will end and he will begin descending after the burst is completed.
Okay, this stomping
Então,
animation
então
is
a
a
ult
little
dele tira
aggressive.
Yeah,
tira
but it's
o estado
I know,
de
and it
flutuar
actually
dele.
suits his character.
Yeah, I can't
Vai
help
sim,
but
vai pro
agree.
YouTube, Klaus.
Wait. Let's not forget about the exploration talent.
Ah, yes. This is an interesting one. The Wanderer can decrease
Olha o
the
catalisador
morale
dele.
required when ascending bows and catalysts.
Tá, dá,
Hey, now,
dando
you can never
crítico.
complain about saving more, huh? Am I
Meu
right?
Okay,
Deus.
that's true.
Meu
Alright,
Deus,
now
o
that we've
catalisador
seen
dele
the
é um
Wanderer,
sino.
Let's move on to the next new character. Are you ready?
Peraí, calma. Antes da gente ir na Faruzan, será que eu não posso pegar aquele espadão, não? Aquele espadão que se chama O Sino e colocar nele? Será que não dá o mesmo efeito? Porque... Poxa,
Ready.
eu não vou pegar a arma dele, não. Eu acho que ele vai ficar bom com a arma do passe também, já que ele é focado em quê?
What did you say?
Oi!
I'm old now, so every other phrase escapes my ears. Try calling me Madam Faruzan.
Madame Faruzan?
Then I'll see if I can pick that up.
Tá, vamos ver um pouquinho da história dela. Ela faz parte da academia, pelo visto.
What is it that you would like to learn more about? Different forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms? The base layer design of
Ela é
elemental
inteligente,
monuments?
pelo visto.
Wait. Did you forget to call me Madam Faruzan just now when you
Eu
asked a
não,
question?
eu jamais.
Whoa. What? There's nothing wrong with being afraid of thunder, even at an older age.
Quantos anos ela tem? Se ela tá falando, eu sou a Madame Faruzan,
Smart too.
She seems so awesome.
pelo visto ela é um pouco mais velha, né?
I wonder what her skirt's made
I
out
know,
of.
her design is so cool and really detailed. I love
É furado! A saia dela é furada, tem furinhos aqui. Gente, vai aparecer as coisas.
even
Não,
though she looks
menina!
super young, she's actually an old
Gente.
person. Like, where's my teeth?
Where's my
Well,
key?
she's not that old.
I
Oh,
don't know,
right.
could've fooled me.
Oi?
Faruzan's age is probably still nothing compared
Quê?
to Scaramouche.
Mm-hmm.
Vai quebrar recorde de
The
venda.
Wanderer, Sarah? Please.
Okay, you know who I meant. Actually, now that I think about it, yokai can also live a really long time too.
That's right, yeah, no. And
Então ela é
speaking
um
of
yokai?
age, isn't the traveler's age also kind of mysterious?
Tá, aqui tá falando que ela é uma pesquisadora de 100 anos atrás.
All of our characters are intriguing. But
Ué.
it's safe to say that Faruzan is way older than most people in Teyvat. Faruzan works in the academia's Haravatat-Darshan.
Tá, como sempre eles não vão falar a idade dela, mas ela...
So I bet everyone out there is wondering
Ela
if she's
tem-
also
ela é
some kind
véia.
of creature blessed with long life, you know?
Ela é
Like
véia.
Flea?
No, she's actually just your regular,
uma idosa
typical human
conservada.
being.
Oh.
Well, maybe not so typical. About 100 years ago, Faruzan was an undisputed genius, traveling
Ela tem
all
mais de
around
100
Sumeru and
anos.
solving many puzzles and mysteries. The notes she left behind eventually became the basis of mechanical research for later
Gostei dela,
generations.
viu?
Whoa, she sounds pretty
Se ela for
amazing.
4 estrelas, tomara que venha no banner do
But
escaramuche.
later,
E
she
tomara que eu consiga
accidentally
pegar ela.
stumbled into some ruins while trying to
Produtos
solve a puzzle.
Ivone, é
There,
verdade.
she encountered some strange phenomenon
Ela
which
usa
stopped her
produtos
from
Ivone.
aging, and was trapped there for nearly 100 years. She
Ah, então ela
eventually
ficou
solved
presa
the
lá.
puzzle and was able to finally return to Sumeru.
Can you imagine being trapped
Mas eu
in
quero
a
saber como
puzzle
são as
for
skills
100
dela.
years?
Vou sim,
Wait,
Henrique.
so that's how she's been hairbot for over a century.
Yeah. And even now, she still has the pride of a scholar in her heart and is a very talented person. It's just that after being separated from the world for so long, she's kind of fallen behind the times now.
Oh, hey, I get what you mean.
Deve ter
She
uns 130 ou
was once a
140.
proud
É,
researcher
deve ter
in
por
a
aí.
niche field that has become unpopular after 100 years. So,
Mas no
is she
Genshin,
still
nenhuma
completely
idade é
dedicated
tipo
to a field?
especificada, sabe?
Yep.
A
And
gente
she
sabe
often
mais ou
tries
menos a
using
faixa
her
etária
old
dos
age as a
personagens,
means of drumming up
mas não
support for her
tem
ideas.
a idade exata
However,
que eu
I
saiba.
think she'd prefer to be complained about for using her seniority rather than garnering sympathy for her experience of being trapped in the ruins.
Yeah, sounds like she's quite the character.
I know, right?
Eu quero ver as skills dela.
So, now that we've covered her backstory,
Aham.
why don't we take a look at Faruzan's
Vamos ver,
abilities
quero
in
ver.
combat?
Let's do it.
Fight, 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 fight.
Briga, briga, briga.
100 years have passed.
Tá, ela é de
There
arco.
hasn't been any change to those dumb
E ela tá
rules
com o
in
último
academia.
acorde, então ela provavelmente é de proficiência,
Dare to
né?
mess with me? Have fun with this gift.
Eita. Eita. Que bonita, cara, que bonita.
I love all the geometric shapes when she's playing. Did you guys see that?
Yes, there's so
crazy.
much geometry, and I took geometry.
It looks so
Eu
cool.
estudei
So,
geometria, disse o
Faruzan is
Ito.
an animo character, and she wields a bow as her weapon. Her normal attacks are the usual bow attacks you'd expect from a bow user, so there's not too much to say about that.
Tá.
But
Ataque
her
normal.
skills are where things get interesting. Her elemental skill deploys a polyhedron that deals damage to enemies. After using her skill, her next aimed shot will become a special attack that creates a vortex,
Nossa, que
pulling
lindo.
nearby objects and opponents in.
Que lindo.
Nice, so she can clump enemies together.
And there's also another thing about her special
Mais
charged
boneco pra
attack.
juntar
It
bicho.
will create a vortex effect at its point of impact. And if the attack hits an enemy or ally member, it'll apply a mark and create a vortex after a short delay.
Okay. So it looks
Ooh.
like there'll be a lot of potential uses for this attack. Travelers will have to experiment with it and see what they come up with.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing to try hitting teammates with the arrow in co-op mode and have them charge into the enemies to group them all together.
Eu vou atirar
I'll have to
nos
see
meus
who wants to try
amigos
that with
aqui.
me.
Ela
After
parece suporte
unlocking the
mesmo.
talent Impetuous Flow, the time
Tadinha, vai
required for
substituir
fully
sucrose?
charging Faruzan's
Ah.
next shot will be reduced, and the arrow will reduce the target enemy's
E
animo
ainda vai
resistance.
reduzir resistência
In her
Nemo.
elemental burst, she deploys a dazzling polyhedron and releases a whirlwind pulse. Throughout its duration, the dazzling polyhedron will continuously move along a triangular
Vai fazer
path. Once it reaches each
triângulo.
corner of that triangular path, it will unleash one more whirlwind pulse.
Yeah, 1 minute she's here, the next she's
Eu também gosto muito dos bonecos de Anemo, cara.
Years.
Hey.
Bada boom.
Even Sino's jokes are funnier than that.
It was pretty
All
funny.
right. Anyway, let's hear what effects these whirlwind pulses have.
Sure. When the whirlwind pulse hits
O Ito é
opponents, it will
fofo.
decrease their animo resistance. It will also apply an animo damage buff effect to all nearby party members when it's unleashed. Travelers should note that the effective range of this buff is quite large, and it's not just within the whirlwind pulse itself, so there's no need to go chasing the polyhedron.
Ah, que bom. Isso é bom, isso é bom.
After unlocking her talent, Lost Wisdom of the Seven Caverns, when a team member uses normal, charged, or plunging attacks, elemental skills, or elemental bursts to deal animo damage to an enemy, the damage will increase based on Faruzan's base attack. This effect can only be triggered once for a certain duration of time.
Oh, so it seems she'll be the solid support.
Nossa, os anemos que estão saindo agora estão muito fortes, né? Muito fortes.
Has taken it upon herself to explore many ruins, with her travels taking her all across Sumeru.
Eu acho que ela vai ficar ótima com o Xiao também.
And she gains more rewards when dispatched on a Sumeru expedition for
Aí
20
sim.
hours.
I'm sure no other mentor in Haravatat has 100 years of experience in solving puzzles.
Yeah, I gotta
Dois
say,
anemo
it's pretty
bodybuilder.
hard to beat. So,
Salve
the
aí,
big
Nel,
question
tudo bom?
is, when can travelers expect to get these new characters?
Ó,
That is a good question. Let's talk about the upcoming event.
vão ser os banners?
In the early part of version
Tá.
3.3,
Aê, vai vir a Faruzan junto!
will be available via their own event wishes.
Tá, vai ser o Andarilho com o Ito e a Faruzan. E o segundo,
In the later part of version 3.3,
Raiden e a
we'll
Yato.
be seeing
Nossa,
rerun event
seria uma
wishes
boa
for
eu pegar a
both the
segunda
Raiden
constelação da
Shogun
Raiden, mas
and
acho que eu vou
Kamisato
guardar.
Ayato. And last but not least, the new 5-star catalyst
Tá,
to
a arma
Close
nova.
Remembrance will be appearing in
Eu
a
acho que eu não
new
vou tentar a
weapon
arma do
event wish.
escaramuche, não. Eu acho que eu vou ficar só com o escaramuche mesmo. E tentar, né? Você quer a Raiden? Ela é muito boa.
Woo, more
Mais
artifacts!
artefatos!
I hope travelers will have fun experimenting and trying new combinations with these.
Tá, calma aí, peraí. Esse aqui é o do deserto. Dá mais 15% de bônus de dano a Nemo. Esse daqui provavelmente vai ser o artefato do escaramuche. Quando ataques carregados batem em oponentes, o personagem que tá equipando esse set, o ataque normal deles vai aumentar ataque speed em 10%, enquanto o ataque normal, ataque carregado e ataque imersivo vai aumentar em 40% de dano! Tá, eu acho que isso daqui também vai ser muito bom no Xiao. Tá, eu acho que isso vai ser muito bom no Xiao. O segundo artefato, dá Elemental Mastery, 80% de Elemental Mastery. 80%, caraca, 80%, mano. 80% de Elemental Mastery. O personagem que tá com esse artefato equipado... Oi, Action Devil! Obrigada pelos 14 meses! Boa tarde! Muito obrigada! O personagem que tiver com esse artefato equipado, com esse set equipado, ele vai aumentar o dano das reações de grama em 40%. E depois que o personagem, quando ele ativar o Bloom, Hyper Bloom ou Burgeon, eles vão ganhar mais 25% de bônus no efeito mencionado anteriormente. Cada stack dura 10 segundos com 4 stacks. Esse efeito só pode ser ativado uma vez por segundo. O personagem que equipa isso ainda pode ativar o efeito enquanto não tá em campo. Caraca, esse artefato é muito forte pra reação de dendro. Não, eu acho que vai ser bom pra Nilou. Cara, eu acho que vai ser bom pra qualquer DPS que for fazer reação de dendro. O sino também, eu acho que pra Yai e Miko. Nossa, pra Yai e Miko vai ficar muito bom. O Tainari também. Cara, até a própria Narida. Até na própria Narida isso aqui vai ficar muito bom.
Yeah.
Que isso?
We've already talked about a ton of new content, so why don't we take a quick break with another redemption code?
Sounds good.
Aí,
Roll
mais um
out the
código de
code.
resgate que já tá no chat. Vamos passar. Bora farmar esse artefato então. Caraca, mano. Eu acho que... Sei lá, viu? O primeiro artefato também vai ser muito bom pros DPS e a Nemo.
Okay, Patrick, what do we have next?
So next we'll be covering
Vai
the
ter uma
upcoming
espada
events
que é
of the
tipo
new
uma
version.
That's
sombrinha.
right. We've already
Que
mentioned the Test
legal.
of Courage event, and I'm sure plenty of you were wondering about that, so let's start there.
Tá, olha os eventos novos.
You must be here to participate in the test of courage.
Teste da coragem.
Already see a dark
Oi,
aura
Little Tio, tudo
surrounding
bom?
the two of you. If you carelessly go running into the event, all it'll take is one little misstep, and the darkness will swallow you up.
Gente, é Halloween do Genshin, cara.
Some strange and unusual things may occur along the way. If you ever feel you can't handle it, you may withdraw from the event at any time. This is your last chance.
Última chance.
I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the test of courage. Enter at your own risk.
Teste de coragem. Ah, não, mano. O que a gente vai ter que fazer? Eu gostei.
Yeah, I
Vai ter
mean,
uma espada
it is
nova.
a
Como
test
você...
of courage,
Pera, é uma
so I'm
espada
sure
ou é
there'll
um
be some
espadão,
scary
será?
stuff going on there.
I ain't scared.
E aí,
Anyway,
JV, salve.
To successfully clear this event, we'll be facing a series of little
Tá,
tests.
pequenos testes.
Ooh, what's this? Tests, you say?
Yes, that's right. Word has it that if you walk around the test of courage, you might find yourself encountering a special sort of game.
Jogo
We've already
especial.
got the rules down, so I'll do a quick introduction. Basically, travelers will have to control a bouncing bar to bounce a ball and use skill ball effects to break as many bricks as
Minigames!
Okay, I'm liking this one.
Ah,
Seems pretty
entendi.
straightforward.
possible. During the
Você
game,
consegue
travelers will be
mudar o
able
seu
to trigger
elemento
elemental reactions to break
pra fazer
bricks more
reação
effectively.
elemental. Ah, que interessante,
Nice.
cara.
It even has elemental
Ô, Genshin,
reactions.
Yeah.
por favor, cara.
We can control the character to
Olha
move
que
the ball.
legal, mano.
When the character we're using
Que
is either
divertido que isso
pyro,
parece.
hydro, cryo,
É uma
or
pena que eles
electro,
provavelmente vão
corresponding
tirar
element will be applied to
esse
the
modo
bar.
depois do
By
evento, né?
switching
Igual eles
characters,
sempre
you can
fazem.
change the element of the bar.
Okay,
Eu acho isso
all
muita
the pieces
sacanagem.
are
Eles
falling
fazem
in
umas
place
mecânicas
now.
muito
The
legais
bar can infuse
pra
a
depois
certain
tirar.
element, and the blocks also have their
Igual,
own
tipo, sei lá, o
elements.
esconde-esconde
So
da
causing a skill ball
Diona,
of
um
one
monte de
element
coisa assim.
To hit blocks of different elements will trigger elemental reactions. There, how'd I do?
Yep, you nailed it.
Poxa, que
The
legal.
bar will add the element corresponding to your character.
Que
Besides triggering
divertido.
reactions the way you just mentioned, if a skill ball is already infused by an element and it hits the bar, it will also trigger a reaction.
E aí vai
causing the
dobrar o
skill ball to
negócio.
have some additional effects.
Eita!
When
Ok.
preparing your team, you can equip modifiers to receive various buff effects, which will help
Já
you
vi isso
successfully
joguinho
clear the
nos
challenge.
celulares, é verdade, né?
Also, when there are
Mas
less
parece
than a
divertido
certain
do
amount of
mesmo
bricks on the
jeito.
board, and the ball lands another hit, the bar will unleash fireworks.
Cool.
Yeah. Travelers can utilize this effect to break some bricks that would normally be difficult to hit directly.
It's like a
Adoro
bonus
mexer no
attack.
negócio.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So, travelers will need to select characters of the right element,
Ah,
equip
você
the
troca o
appropriate
elemento
modifiers,
da
and use
parede
different elemental
com o
reactions
elemento
to
do
break
seu
bricks and
personagem.
score more points.
And then
Que legal.
travelers will be able to use their points to
Qual o nome desse
exchange
joguinho?
for
Genshin.
rewards in the
Genshin
event shop,
Impact.
correct?
Só que isso daqui é
That's
um
right.
evento que vai
Also,
ter.
travelers will have the option of teaming up and playing the event together in
Três,
co-op mode.
nossa, 3
Oh,
bolinhas.
looks like a lot of
Socorro.
fun.
Yeah, super
Perdeu uma.
fun.
Não, quase
Yeah,
perdeu.
in addition to this minigame, the Test of Courage storyline will also contain more challenges.
Tá, vai ter
Travelers
outros
will even have a
desafios,
chance
então.
to
Além
meet
desse, vai
some
ter
good
outros.
friends again, so be sure to check out this new event.
Pois é, vai ter
All right,
multiplayer disso aí?
let's move on to our next event.
Próximo
Okay,
evento.
so next up, we have a race event called Across the Wilderness.
Evento de
Your
corrida?
objective, collecting balloons.
Coletar balões?
I don't know. Seems like the Wanderer's abilities might come in real handy here.
Ah, meu
I know, right?
Deus.
So, in
Quem
this
tiver o
event,
escaramuche
each
vai
stage
ser
will
muito
have
OP nesse
wilderness
evento.
balloons scattered all around. Travelers will need to find as many wilderness balloons as possible within the time limit to earn increasingly better rewards. So during the challenge, travelers will be able to utilize their character
Evento pay
skills
to
and
win,
talents.
mano.
So it'll be important to assemble the right team depending on the traits
Tomara que eu
and
consiga
terrain
pegar o
of the
escaramuche.
challenge area.
Oh,
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, so travelers can also use something called the Wilderness Compass to obtain various buffs, which include
Aí tem
enhanced jumping
buffs.
capabilities, increased movement speed, or unlimited
Ainda bem que
stamina,
eu tô no
etc.
50%.
However, you can
Eu
only
consigo
claim
chegar
one
no
buff
pitch, mas eu tô
during
no
each challenge.
50%. Tomara que eu...
You must consume
Ganho 50%.
blessed energy to use
Escaramuche,
the
por favor,
compass
nunca te
and
pedi
gain
nada.
the selected buff. You may charge the compass up by finding wilderness balloons or interacting with blessed energy in the challenge. Or you can always wait for the compass to passively charge over time.
Yo, this event looks pretty crazy. It's almost like watching parkour.
Parkour!
Yeah, there are two different kinds of
Parkour.
wilderness balloons in these challenges. The first is harvest balloons, which will increase
Se eu ganhar
the
ele no
overall
50%, eu vou na
progress
raid ou
of
na
your search
arma?
for wilderness
Eu acho que
balloons.
nenhum dos dois.
The
Eu
other
acho que eu
kind
vou,
is
vou
sonar
guardar.
balloons,
Eu vou ir
which
guardando
will
pros
cause
próximos
several
personagens.
harvest balloons to appear around you for a set amount of time.
That's awesome.
So there will be 5 stages available for this event, and travelers will need to consider the conditions and terrain of each stage to come up with the best way to
Nossa,
complete it.
olha o tamanho
Also,
dessa fase.
travelers may
Meu
team
Deus
up
do
in
céu.
co-op mode for challenges.
Ah, tá, vai ter
More chances to
multijogador
play
aí.
together. I love it.
Yeah, same. Okay, let's move on to our next event.
Próximo evento.
Everyone's favorite game of hide and seek is back with
Ah,
the Wind Race event. And of course, this is going to
esconde-esconde.
be another co-op event, and I for one am super excited for it.
There's nothing like a good co-op.
Bem que eu tava
Many
falando do
of you might
esconde-esconde,
already
né?
be familiar with this event by now, but there have been a few
O esconde-esconde é
changes.
legal.
Let
E
me
dá pra gente
introduce
jogar
what
junto
travelers
também.
can expect to
Dá pra
see
fazer um
this time
campeonato de
around.
esconde-esconde, hein?
You can probably skip some of the basics this time. You know, players either hide or seek. And then...
Okay, wait a second.
Sim, eu
There
gostei muito
actually
desse
might be
evento, ele é
some new
muito
travelers
divertido.
out there who've never seen this event before.
Ah.
So, why don't you start with some of the basics?
Right, good point. Okay, let's start at the beginning then. This
Olha o
is a
escaramujo ali.
game with a long history in Mondstadt.
Ah, não dá pra usar as
Travelers will be split
habilidades, né,
into
dos
two different
personagens.
sides, the rebels and the hunter.
É verdade,
You will need to
verdade.
use
Esqueci.
skills and master the art of hiding or chasing down
Porque
others to win
imagina,
this
se
event.
você
The
tiver que
goal of the
esconder,
hunter is
você
to
usa o
capture all the
escaramujo
rebels,
pra ir
while the
lá
rebels
pra
run
cima.
or use other means to keep themselves from getting caught by the hunter.
Okay, that's straightforward enough. So, what else you got for us?
Well, some travelers
É
may
divertido
remember
isso
playing as
daí.
the rebels and getting caught early in the game.
Vai muita
Once that would
gema
happen, all you
nesse
could do is
evento?
spectate and watch the rest as the others
Ixi,
continue
pegou.
playing. But this time around,
Usar a Mono
once
Ayaka.
you're caught,
Eu lembro que
you'll still
na
be able
segunda
to
vez que eles
participate in the
colocaram
match,
esse
even in
evento,
observer mode.
eles tiraram
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
esse dash
Once
da
you're in
Ayaka e da
observer
Mona.
mode, you can't be seen by other players and will receive the illusory beacon skill. This skill will allow you to place a random beacon to confuse the hunter. If your beacon successfully tricks the hunter and is destroyed, then the hunter will suffer an obscured
Vixe.
vision effect.
Eu lembro que eu
So, even
gostava
after
de,
you've been
tipo,
captured, you can
ficar
be like a
invisível
little ghost
e enganar
trying to help your
os
teammates by disrupting the
os
hunter.
hunters, os
That's
caçadores.
pretty fun. And at least you won't have to sit
Eu acho que
there
vai ter
and
mais
just
mapas,
watch the
sim.
rest of
Da
the
última
match
vez eles
anymore.
colocaram mais mapas.
Exactly, but what does the hunter get this time? I mean, we gotta keep it fair.
Some new windward arts have been added for both the hunter and the rebels.
Ah, vai ter novas
Hunter
skills.
will now be able to use the hunter's net. This net can be thrown
Nossa,
and will
vai
remove
ser
any rebel
ranged.
disguises within its range. And
Deve
will
vir um
notify
mapa
the
de Sumeru
hunter
mesmo.
that a rebel was detected. If a beacon is caught in the net, it will be destroyed and the hunter will not suffer from obscured vision.
Nice. So, I guess if you love playing Hunter, you'll probably love this.
Oh yeah.
Ah, mas é
definitely.
aleatório se você cair de
The skill
caçador ou de
rebels used in
rebelde.
previous versions of the game to place beacons can now only be used by players
E aí,
in observer
Taka,
mode.
beleza, obrigada pelo
However,
lurk.
the rebels will be able to use an all-new concealing beacon skill. This skill will allow you to deploy a beacon for a set duration and remain invisible while you're around that beacon. All
Ah.
players, including your rebel teammates, will be unable to see you while you're invisible. If
Dá
the
pra se
concealing
esconder.
beacon
Vai
is
ter
destroyed by the
outro
hunter,
jeito de se esconder,
then the
olha aí.
hunter will have their vision obscured for a short time. Sounds pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you end up being captured by the hunter at the start of the game, you'll still be able to participate and assist your teammates.
Ah, que bom.
And did I mention primo gems and other rewards?
Quero.
Ah, the good stuff.
O que é
So be
lurk?
sure to
É
check
quando
it
você
out.
deixa a live aberta, mas
Oh,
não tá
that's awesome.
exatamente
Seriously, I
assistindo.
can't wait
É
to
porque
play with
ajuda com as
friends.
visualizações da
Our
live.
next event is a combat-based event.
Time for some combat!
Whoop, whoop.
In a forbidden
Qual,
place
que bug
warded
que é
by
esse? Não
dust
conheço
and
não,
sand,
Taka. Ah,
mysterious
mais
foes have
um
assembled
evento de
lines of
combate.
fortifications to stop your coming. That's right, a new edition of Misty Dungeon will arrive in version 3.3. Stoked.
Sweet.
But this time around, there will be a total of 7 trials with different themes
Tá, vai ter
awaiting you in the Misty
muito
Dungeon.
evento.
Each
Tem
has a
bastante
different
evento nessa
ley line disorder,
3.3.
and travelers will have
Eu
to
gosto,
adjust
eu
their
curto evento
teams
de combate,
according to the
principalmente porque
disorder's
às vezes
effects
eles têm os
and the
personagens pra você
distribution of enemies.
experimentar,
There
né?
will also be trial characters for you to select from as well. After entering the domain, travelers
Quanto
will
mais
need to
evento,
go
mais
and
gema,
complete
bem
3
nessas.
challenges to collect ancient runes. After collecting power from 3 ancient runes,
Ou seja, né,
we can
quem
power
tem
up the
pouca gema
control
pra
array
tentar o
and proceed to the
escaramuche,
final
tem que fazer
challenge.
todos os eventos o mais
Also,
rápido
throughout the
possível.
trial, additional benediction mechanisms and challenges
É verdade, o
will
Tower
appear.
Defense acho que tem um
Travelers
tempo que
may
não
choose
volta,
to
né?
interact with these to increase the ley line disorder's effects or revive and heal your team.
You know, if it were up to me, I'd say just go for all the challenges.
I know, but travelers should keep in mind that the challenge objective for each trial might be different. So be sure to check the objective and aim for that while proceeding.
Ah, eu
In
nunca vou
terms of
ler. Eu
awards,
provavelmente não vou
travelers
ler.
can look forward
Eu
to
só vou
winning
olhar e
primo
falar,
gems and
ah,
other
é isso aí.
various
Eu vou
prizes.
bater em todo mundo. É
Ooh, I
tudo que eu
like
preciso
prizes.
fazer.
And last but not least, version 3.3 will
Ah,
also
e sim,
have
olha.
leyline
2x
overflow
de
events.
leyline
Travelers
e
can look
de,
forward to
evento
saving
de
their
linhas
resin
lei.
and earning more Mora and experience books.
Nice, that's awesome. That'll be great for all the travelers out there still
O
leveling
Tower
up all
Defense
their
era
new
legal
characters.
também, eu gostava.
And even if you don't need those resources now, it's always good to stock up and have more on hand, am I right?
Sim, sim.
Yeah.
Muito bom.
So, travelers looking to upgrade their characters won't want to miss this.
Yeah, I mean, this is all good stuff.
In
Eu
addition
acho que
to the new
partes novas
version's
do mapa
limited
não...
time
Oh!
events, version 3.3 will also be
Permanente!
adding a new
Permanente!
game mode called
Está em todo
Genius
lugar.
Invocation
Socorro.
TCG.
Ele me persegue.
Outro
But
modo, só que
before we get
permanente.
into that, let's take another quick break and enjoy a redemption code.
Tá, veio o anúncio agora. Então a gente espera aqui enquanto o anúncio passa.
Welcome back, everyone. During our journey into VAT, we've stumbled across several NPCs talking about a game called Genius Invocation.
Já tem banlist, tipo isso.
So next, we'll introduce this card
Tá, vamos ver
game
como é
that's
que é
been
esse
taking
modo.
to VAT by storm. In the version 3.1 special program, we already revealed that Genius Invocation TCG will be a card
Sim, eles já
game
tinham
where we can
falado sobre
challenge
isso. Agora eu quero ver
various
como
characters
é.
and NPCs, or battle against your friends. But there is actually a legend
Uma
behind
lenda por
this
trás
game.
desse jogo?
It is said that a young guy in Sumeru found an ancient casket of tomes in the attic. He
Suspeito.
opened it and discovered that the soul of an ancient TCG player called the Crocodile King had been
Rei
captured
Crocodilo.
inside.
What a name.
It turns out that the Crocodile King was King Deshret's viceroy, who battled an opponent named the Ibis King.
Era o vice-rei,
During
então
the match,
o cara era um
the
nerdão que
Crocodile
gostava
King
de jogar
fell prey to his
carta.
opponent's
É
scheme
isso.
and was sealed away in the casket of tomes.
Ouch, game over.
After being unexpectedly released by the
Crocodilagem,
kid, the Crocodile King possesses him and helps him to
Vixe.
gradually climb the ranks to becoming a legendary TCG player.
Nice. Hang on, is it just me, or does that kind of sound like the plot to a light novel or something?
Talvez um
You're
pouco.
right. It turns out that Yai Publishing House is about to release a hit light novel series.
Mas eu quero
based on
saber como
Genius
é o
Invocation
jogo. Me
TCG.
mostra o jogo.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a plug for
Tá bom,
Yai
tá bom. Me
Publishing
mostra como é que é o
House.
TCG.
Maybe. But anyway, that's the legend on how Genius Invocation TCG came to be.
Muito
Though it's
interessante.
probably just a story they came up with for marketing the game.
So while
Aí,
you were telling us about
finalmente.
the story, I was over here researching the rules to the game. Basically, Genius Invocation TCG is a game where you use a constructed
Você pode
deck
duelar
of
contra
cards
NPCs,
to
pelo
duel
visto.
against an opponent. The objective is to defeat all of your opponent's character cards.
That's right.
Parece
Also,
complexo.
there are many features and mechanics in the game that resonate with Genshin Impact's gameplay, so it shouldn't be too hard for players to get the hang of.
Right, I even saw some elemental reactions in the gameplay.
Yup, a constructed
Olha, tem
deck must
mana,
contain character cards.
tem
And as you might
personagens,
expect, these
tem
character cards have
spells.
a normal attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst.
Olha isso, que
So when a character
legal.
card deals elemental damage
É
to an
realmente
enemy,
card
it
game.
will cause them to be affected by that element. Then you can switch to a character card of a different element
Vocês viram essa carta?
to be affected by
Vocês
that
viram a
element.
carta?
Then
É a Alice! É a Alice, gente! É a mãe da Clee! Essa carta aqui, olha! Ah! Ah! Eu quero. Não é a senhora, não. Eu não é, acho que não é a senhora, não, gente. Eu acho que é a Alice. Eu acho que é a Alice. A senhora não era assim, não. Ou será que é a senhora? Será que é a senhora ou é a Alice? Ah, não. É a senhora? Mas a senhora... Ah, eu queria que fosse a Alice, cara.
you can switch to a
No
character
meu
card of a
coração é
different
a
element
Alice.
and use their abilities to trigger an elemental
No
reaction.
meu coração é a Alice.
Did you guys notice that there are even monster character cards? Can we even make a deck of, like, just the monsters from the game?
You're really getting into this,
A
Max.
senhora tem... A Alice tem orelhas de elfo, a
I
verdade.
like card games!
No meu coração ela tem.
So, in Genius Invocation TCG, all actions require you to spend elemental dice. Each round,
Dados
both
elementais.
you and your opponent will roll 8 elemental dice.
Que legal.
Each of these elemental
Mecânica
dice
legal.
can
É
have
tipo a
any
sua
one
mana.
of 8 elemental attributes.
Hold on, but there's only 7 elements in the world of Tevat.
You're right. So, in addition to the 7 standard elements, there's also one called the Omni Element.
Omni
The
Element.
elemental dice required for
Wow.
a character card to perform an action correspond to the character's element. So, for
Certo.
example, a Pyro character like D-Luke needs either Pyro or Omni Elemental dice to perform an action. Clear now?
Yep,
Cara, isso
crystal
parece
clear.
muito legal.
Also, elemental dice can be used to switch characters.
Gente, a gente vai
or
poder
play
fazer
a variety of
campeonato
other
disso.
cards, such as equipment
Ai,
cards,
quantas
event
possibilidades.
cards, and support cards. All these cards create the potential for a variety of strategies.
Right. While playing Genius Invocation TCG, travelers can earn player experience.
É, tipo um
which
lore,
will
só que
increase your
diferente.
player level.
Caraca,
As
cadê
your
o
level
Serquete aqui pra eu
increases,
mostrar pra
you'll
ele?
be able to challenge more characters and NPCs. By completing challenges, you may earn lucky coins, new cards, or other rewards.
E vai ter
Lucky
gema.
coins can be exchanged in the event
Uou.
shop for cards, or can
oi,
even
Mayu,
unlock dynamic
tudo
skins for
bom?
certain cards.
Obrigada pela
Dynamic
raid. Peraí, deixa eu pausar aqui
Those are
pouquinho.
cards that have moving illustrations, right?
That's right.
Olha essas
All character
ilustrações,
cards
olha que
can unlock
lindo.
a dynamic skin. After unlocking that, there'll even be a cool bonus animation whenever you cast that character's elemental burst.
Cool.
Gente, olha
And
essas
if you're confident
animações
in your
das
TCG
cartas.
skills, you can also invite a friend to duel. After reaching a high enough player level, you'll even unlock
E aí
a
você pode jogar
matchmaking mode.
PVP, cara.
So,
Você pode jogar
be sure to give it a
PVP, que
Travelers should note
legal!
that playing against your friends or other travelers won't count towards any leaderboards or provide any rewards. So you can relax. It's all just for fun. Okay, that's everything we have for Genius Invocation
isso.
TCG, and that brings
De
us
Luke
to
amo
the
como
end of
sempre,
today's
sim.
special program. So, what
Acabou,
did you think?
cara. O que vocês acharam? Ó, quem tá assistindo no YouTube, deixa aí nos comentários o que vocês acharam. Aí, gente, tô virando youtuber, hein? Ô, ô, ô. Cara, tá muito legal. Eu quero... Eu tô ansiosa pra esse modo aqui.
The new characters
Os personagens
were cool.
novos também.
What about Scaramouche hovering?
Eu quero saber quem que vai tentar o Scaramouche, quem que vai tentar o Raiden.